Welcome, everybody, to Road Atlanta. It's round number 9 of 10 here in the Penguin RC Sportscar Challenge. And I, as always, am your producer slash commentator, Chad. And here in the booth with me, someone that you see there on your timing screen, but he's not driving tonight because he's too scared. Ray Kingsbury. Ray, first time at this track in the series in a couple of seasons. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the last time we were here with GT and GT3, so multi-class lapping was a concern. It was scary, really scary. I think just one single class can be some good racing. We've got a bunch of guys out there that are they're pretty good drivers. I'm interested to see what happens. You did notice I was on the grid. I swear I clicked test drive. It threw me in as a driver. I'm a little confused by that, but yeah. Since the last time we were here, I do believe they've repaved some of the curbs, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they were white and red previously. Now they're blue and yellow.
Correct. They have redone the curbs. That was about 6 months ago, I think it was, that they did that update. This is a look at the guy who's currently sitting in P2. That's Kevin Fanning. He's actually, I'm looking at the. He's P3 at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm getting all my positions mixed up. He's P3 for the moment. Michael Janney is in the session, but has not set a lap yet in qualifying. I think he's just trying to set himself a little bit of a challenge. We'll see if he actually jumps in for the race. But this race pretty much will decide the championship. You'll see there no Christian Challenger tonight. Second race in a row he's had to miss for other commitments, and we completely understand. Just unfortunate to see the season end that way for what's been such a great battle between those two all season long. But as these guys continue to rip through this Road Atlanta circuit, it's going to be a fun one, I think, because some of these guys are pretty close on time compared to what they were showing. It might just be qualifying trim, though.
Yeah, but with these cars, Chad, race trim, qualifying trim, these are endurance cars. They don't have like a sticky set of tires, Like those tires will last you a couple hours. I think they'll hold their pace pretty consistently throughout the stint. Yeah, different cars change different characteristics throughout the run, but like the Porsche lifts its nose just a little bit as it burns fuel off, tiny bit more understeer. Um, I'm sure a few of the other cars have other characteristics. I'm not too educated in them, but
I'd say the
other than
biggest.
that, they're going to be pretty similar throughout a run. So
Yeah, the biggest biggest difference between these cars is the ones that are front versus mid-engine, and um, I mean, it definitely will change kind of the way that it handles, especially through some of the slower speed corners. But these guys, they've been driving the same car for 8, 9 races now in this season, and probably doing a bunch more racing outside of the series. So these guys are definitely used to what they're driving, and it looks like right now got 2 Porsches in the top 3, and then the Ferrari and a BMW mixed in there as well. So all of these guys really showing a good balance distribution of the cars here this season. We've got everything from the BMW, the Mercedes. We've got the Ford GT3 out there with Tim Brokaw. So definitely great to see just about every manufacturer we can possibly throw in here on the track.
yeah, Chad, for sure. And I do wonder, is the Porsche considered mid-engine or is that a rear-engine car? I know the Ferrari's a mid-engine.
I don't know. It has an engine.
It has an engine. The BMW and the Merc are obviously front engine. The Ford GT drives like a front engine. It's definitely not a front engine, I don't think.
Here's a look at one of your cars, Ray, with David Schofield. Here's Jack Belton. I'm going to give him crap for this one. The Norwich City car. Repping those colors. We had a good old discussion about that this week in the Discord. So the
He'll be up in here in a minute. He'll be like, "It's Norwich."
I know it's Norwich, but you know what? It's Norwich. There's a W in there.
Those freaking Brits, they don't know what they're spelling, man.
Tea and crumpets, pip pip Cheerio. What do they like Cheerios so much?
I don't know, man. They're pretty good. I saw a retro box of Cheerios at what was it, Target the other day.
Mm-hmm.
They were named something else. I don't remember what they're called.
Huh. There you see, by the way, two of the smart cars lined up, line of stern, down that long back straightaway, one of the longest in North America. Definitely giving a bit of a draft there to his
Oh, dude.
teammates for
I
Schofield.
don't know if that worked.
Yeah, he lost a ton of time there, so he's going to have to catch right back up at some point. But those guys out there turning laps. Here's a look at one of the most different liveries out there on the grid. That's Jeffrey Wallace in that shiny TWR car. Definitely like the spec map, the chrome that he has going with that car.
I personally like the neon yellow. As you know, I like neon yellow.
I always like the bright cars for sure.
You know, Chad, I've been deciding what colors I'm going to run next season. I think I'm going to make a return to these sports cars.
Uh-oh.
I'm kind
Well,
of missing it.
you're going to have to find somebody to replace you up here, though.
We will put Matt up here. He didn't seem to finish many races anyways.
Man, if you're trying to get him up in the booth, you should probably at least be nice to him.
Well, he did offer to let me race today and come up in the booth, actually. Maybe I should have taken him up on that.
Yeah, come on,
I
Ray.
like this track, but I had absolutely no practice.
Yeah, I totally understand that one. But that's qualifying in the books here at Road Atlanta. Let's take a look here at your starting grid as we take set here. No, I don't really know. Do we have a name for this race? I just kind of called it Hotlanta because that's what I thought of. But Cody Cosgrove on pole, followed by Brandon Lambert, then Kevin Fanning, Curtis Critchley, Steve Lane in fifth, then David Schofield, Jack Belton, Tim Brokaw, Brian Sant, Jeffrey Wallace, Asphalt Dennis, and Seth Rawls wrap up the top 12. Not sure if we'll have Michael Janney or not for the feature. I would expect to, but we're just going to have to wait and see if he ends up hopping in the session. So,
Yeah, there's no sponsor on this race. It's a Penguin RC special.
you know, as these guys start to form up on the grid, have to see. First of all, do we have a Michael Janney sighting on the grid? And second of all, just kind of waiting to see when qualifying will wrap up. I'm still showing 30 seconds left for these guys to finish up their laps, but I think for the most part that's just about everybody completing their 15-minute open qualifying session. So
It's Cody Cosgrove on pole, Brandon Lambert second, and Kevin Fanning third. A pretty solid top three. They're less than half a tenth apart from each other. I mean, could have blinked an eye and another one of them could have been on pole.
exactly, yeah. Man, it's such an interesting track. We had a couple of danger zones to watch out for. This is one of them through the S's. Things can get really scary through that section of the track. And the other place really is the chicane at the end of that long back straightaway. So long, actually, you can land an airplane on it. Go Critchley in the chat. So definitely shout out to Curtis Critchley getting some love in the chat, starting fourth on the grid here today. And Josiah Wellwood, oops, I missed the race. Josiah, get in here. Why aren't you racing with us? And there you see the Livewire SimSport Drive Dead Racing DDR machine of Cody Cosgrove getting set to start on pole. He also ended up in victory lane last week here, getting his first win in the series, and it did not come easy. It was definitely some stiff competition all throughout that race last week.
Sorry, Chad. I was sort of tending to my cold here.
That's
I see
okay.
I'm holding the grid up, so I'll grid real quick and then I'll pull it off. That way we can get started.
There you go. That sounds good to me. Once we get rolling out here, we will get everything set. We do have Michael Janney taking to the grid, so he will be starting at the back, shotgun 13th. And I think that for some of these guys, it's going to be a little unnerving having so much pace in your mirrors.
Yeah, I think Michael wanted to make this interesting. He figures, if he's gonna basically take the championship here by just participating. You might as well do it in style and try to win from the back. Interesting strategy. You could get caught up in a wreck. Either way, he's gaining points on Christian Challoner tonight, so really no reason for him not to try it. Make the show a little interesting and give his buddy Cody a chance to maybe walk away with another race win.
Yeah, it was certainly a fun battle last week at Mossport. This week, very similar feeling track in terms of field to me. There's a lot of elevation changes, some long straightaways, and it always leads to some fantastic racing here at Road Atlanta.
You know, Chad, I was just thinking, we've had almost every manufacturer represented in this series. Tonight we've got a lot of them represented despite only having 12 cars. Yeah, a lot of Porsches, a lot of Ferraris. We've got an Audi out there, a BMW, Mercedes. We got a Ford out there, of all things.
Yeah, I think that this might be the most
We're just
manufacturers.
The McLaren and the whatchamacallit.
The whatchamacallit, yes. I'm very familiar with that car. We got Lambo out there. He's starting second.
Lambo in the Lambo.
No,
Might be seeing that next season.
He's driving the Ferrari. They're rolling off in the second position. That's a look at him, that 46 Spark machine.
You know, Chad, I was talking about rejoining the grid next season. Thinking about driving an Audi. What do you think?
We have one out there right now. That's Brian's son. So it'd be nice to get him some company out there and get some love for that car.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about the Porsche. I really like that car in MTech. It'd be good to get more practice on it, but it's not too hard to adapt between GT3 cars, I feel like. I did okay in the McLaren, so the Audi can't be too difficult. And, may or may not have a connection in the Audi I want to bring over here. We'll talk more about that later.
But here you go. This is the corner that I've been talking about with all the danger in the world through that chicane. Things can get tricky because you're downhill going into it.
Let's go racing, boys.
And through the final corner, the pace car pulls off. Drivers in their rows of two. Some guys looking to get very racy already on the inside. That's Cody Cosgrove, and he is going to get almost clear. I think he's clear. I don't know if he's going to pull over or not. He's going to protect the inside line going into turn number one. That's Curtis Critchley there jumping up into the second position. So now Critchley in the second spot, and he's looking. He was peeking there to try to make a move, and there's some contact as well. That's the 50. That's Kevin Fanning that had to run wide. He's going to serve the
around and into the wall. I don't know how much damage is there on that car, but there was some contact. Lane blinked right going into turn one. Fanning looked like he was a little slow up the hill. Lane went to the inside, nailed the grass, pushed wide over the curb, door slam Fanning, spun himself out.
And here's a look back up front. It's still nose to tail with Critchley and Cosgrove. And Cody was your winner last week. Curtis Critchley, I can't remember if he was even in the grid last week. I don't remember a lot of things that happened a week ago. So anyway, these guys going to put on a show because right there behind them is Brandon Lambert as well. You got to get your braking point exactly right. If you brake a little later than the car in front of you, you're in for a world of hurt punting them off the track.
I think Fanning's a little wounded after that. He's got a little right side damage. I don't know how much it's dropping on the straight line speed, but hopefully he's okay. Brian Sohm picked up some major damage already. Oh, there was a spin out of one of the corners here. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, that's significant damage to the 09.
Oh, Jeffrey Wallace spun it coming out of the... Tim Brokaw actually got loose by himself over the curbing. Jeffrey Wallace was good. Sent it. Him and Brokaw collided. Brokaw spun, collected Brian Sohn.
Yeah, here's a look
Wallace went into the wall. We had 3 cars pretty much banged up in the first lap there, as well as Fanning and Lane. Yeah,
last week was a battle of attrition. This might be the same. Here's a look at Brian Sohn. We'll have to see what happened to him. There you see the 54 serving a slowdown. Did he clip the curve wrong? No, it doesn't
Sohn and
happen
Brokaw
here.
look like they're done.
Yeah, Sohn has a ton of damage on that
Ball
car.
just
Oh,
down.
wow. Look at that incident. Wow. Multiple cars involved. Let's take one more look here from maybe a wider camera. There you see it was the Ford going around.
Don't miss this. They're bump drafting.
There you see it. Critchley to the inside. We're going back live here. Critchley tried to take the lead, and he is there. He absolutely sends it up the inside. And fantastic move there for Critchley to the point.
A little bit of help from the Lambo. He just said over the radio, thanks for the bump draft. Only in NASA, ladies and gentlemen. Go Curtis. I wouldn't have picked him out of a hat. But he's up there. He's in first. He's got enough fuel in the car.
That's a fantastic bit of driving. Yes, they do have one pit stop here in these races, and we've seen fuel play a factor in a couple of races here in the series so far. And right now, once again, we're already seeing some guys try to make some moves. And wow, Critchley, once he got by, he has pulled about a second already on Cody Crosgrove. Look at that gap back to second place.
Something tells me he might have set up for race trim.
That thing is a rocket ship. Speaking of rocket ship, Michael Janney started shotgun 13th, and he is already up to the 6th spot.
Yeah, no surprise there. I'm honestly surprised he's that far back, but he had to avoid some calamity. It is decently tough competition to get through here. You got the 3 Spark LLM cars, and you got a couple teammates. I think the Spark Ferraris won't make it too easy on them.
Is that some...
Brandon Lambert to the inside of Cody Crosgrove. He's up to P2. I wonder if there's something wrong with Crosgrove's car. I wonder if maybe the fuel window's closed and he knows it. I mean, Critchley's gone. He's 19.8.
I don't...
Lambert faster as well.
I don't know that they're even thinking about fuel right now. Unless you're trying to short pit on fuel, pull the early stop once it opens about 10 or so minutes from now. But there's something that Curtis Critchley has in this car that the other guys just don't for the moment.
I think Brandon Lambert might have it. He just had to get by Cody Crosgrove, it looked like. I don't know if Cody's just slow or if there's something wrong with his car. Or if he maybe the fuel is borderline. He's just trying to save into a window to do it on no stops. Who knows?
Yeah, his last lap was a 121.2. That's compared to a 119.8 for Critchley and a 120.7 for Lambert. But this is that 113.
They're gonna look for him too.
Yeah, this 113 of Michael Janney. There's a look at him there, trying to get by Belton. And he's alongside down this long straightaway. He's probably going to have the momentum to get clear by the time they get to the corner. But I know, Jack, he is not going to make it easy here.
He didn't really have much of a choice, did he?
Exactly. He waited as long as he could to tuck back in line. Peeked and thought about making the move, but instead he just sits back there once again. And it looks like Tim Brokaw is he the only car still off the track? No, both him and Brian are still in the pit lane. So that's a look there. This is still Janney we're following, trying to get by. Next in line is David Schofield. And I think the biggest part for Janney is just that launch that he gets onto that long back straightaway is so important here in these cars. You got to get as much momentum as you possibly can because that straightaway is just so long.
We lost Tim Brokaw due to packet loss, but I don't think he was doing much for that car anyways with the amount of damage on it. So
yeah, the other car is sitting on pit lane, Brian Son. He's basically the iron. He never withdraws from a race. He always tries to get back out there on the track, and he's doing everything he can.
He dropped like a rock.
Yeah, Seth was involved in the contact. There was Seth, as well as Brokaw, Brian Son, and Jeffrey Wallace, I think were the ones all involved in that incident earlier on.
I don't see a mark on his car, Chad.
I thought that it was him that was involved. No, he made contact with Brian Son when Son wrecked. You'll see the front left of his car, that quarter panel is pushed in on the front side of the tire. So there is damage to that race car.
Okay. I mean, I do know he just switched cars. Seth had run most of the season on the Porsche. He had run 3 races or 4 races, I think. He just switched over to the Mercedes, which he's more familiar with. So maybe a little bit of a adjustment.
But up front, it's still Curtis Critchley, followed by Brandon Lambert. Then back to Michael Janney now. His charge continues.
Jeffrey Wallace is actually attacking Steve Lane right now. Those BMWs looking fast here. Those Porsches, maybe not as fast as they normally are. Maybe the BMWs, just like they are in the GTE class, really handle these bumps quite well.
And here's a look down into turn number 1. On the inside, not giving him much room, but Steve Lane A little bit of a blink there. That can be very unnerving as a driver. But thankfully, no harm, no foul there.
If
These
you're
guys go
blinking a
back,
tiny bit every once in a while.
and there you hear it. He is blinking a little bit, so.
Both of these guys with a little bit of bodywork damage on their cars, so they are wheeling a little bit of damage. I don't know if that's making an impact, but Jeffrey's got a fender exposed, so I think he'd be worse for wear than Steve.
Yeah, exactly. There you see him trying to go around the long way. Not going to do it. Tucks back in line. Trying to get the launch off the corner. He is right there, and there's Lane once again. And we heard him, these guys talking over the radio about that blinking. That is never fun if you're the driver behind.
No, it's not, but, at some point Jeffrey's going to have to make a move.
Speaking of
He's
making
definitely a little
moves,
quicker.
yeah, look at this. This is the battle for the 5th position between, or for 4th between Cosgrove and Schofield. And Schofield
already
wants
looking
that
for
spot. Yeah, Janny's right there as well. Look at those two battles. And there you see that big Norwich City car of Jack Belton just kind of sitting, waiting, licking his chops, and hoping these guys keep on fighting.
Schofield didn't quite get the launch he wanted there, but it's not going to really matter with the draft he's got. He should be able to pull him. Got the Ferrari and he's in the draft.
And very defensive line all the way down the straightaway here from Brandon Lambert. But I don't think he's going to have much of a choice. Same thing we've seen multiple times here from Michael Janney. Yeah, he's clear well before they even get to the braking point. So he tucks back in line. That's Janney up to P2, but 3 seconds now up the road is Curtis Critchley. And Critchley's fastest lap of the race, 119.6 compared to a 119.1 from Michael Janney. So about a couple of laps from now, I think we should see Critchley end up getting swallowed up by that 113 of Michael Janney.
Well, he's held on for this long. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. I'm actually surprised these guys are maintaining the pace they are. We know Michael's fast, so the fact that they're within half a second is pretty impressive to me.
And by the way,
actually, Janney's just flown by Lambert, but
and an update for the Twitch chat: the red and the blue in the timing and scoring there, that is the class that these guys are in. Everybody's running the GT3 car, but the red signifies the AM drivers at sub 3,000 I rating, and the blue signifies the pro class, which is the drivers 3,000 and above I rating. So these guys really know what they're doing out there. You heard more comments over the radio about how excited Critchley was for this race, but Janney just going to tear everybody apart. So
they're asking what happened to me, Chad.
I see that. He died.
I didn't join the grid. I meant to not join the race server as a driver, but it put me in there as one. So it is what it is.
But 10 minutes into this one, and Janney once again cutting more time into the lead of Curtis Critchley. Once he gets there, though, he has to find a way by. I would expect it to have to be into that chicane. Watch how much of these curves that these guys are using going down through the S's.
Oh, you use all of them, Chad. Even in the GTE cars with all those aero, it doesn't really upset them too much. These curbs are deceptively smooth, but they're not smooth. They're bumpy. I guess the track surface isn't much smoother, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Here's a look at the weather out there on track. Ambient 71 with a 115 for the track temp. 61% humidity. Jack Bell, there you see some damage on the right front as well. Looks like it's bent in just a little bit. We'll take a look here at the replay.
Yeah, Master Chief lost it on the S's you were talking about. He slammed the curb a little too hard, went across the grass, and then caught it in the sand trap. I don't know if there's damage on that right front, but
yeah, it looked like it might have been bent in just a little bit. But there you see, by the way, that you saw just a moment ago, that purple ribbon on the right rear of that car.
A little bit.
The purple ribbon on the right rear of that car, that is leukemia awareness, or Hodgkin's lymphoma, I'm sorry, Hodgkin's lymphoma awareness. And last season it was, Jack was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's great to see him back out there in the car, both here and over in MTech. So, fantastic story for him, and he always has fun out there in these cars. So now he's just lugging up, trying to get by. He's got to get by Jeffrey Wallace next, and he's got some speed to do it.
David Schofield's still working on Cody Cosgrove up through the S's here now. I think, Chad, based on the observations of the car's pace, what happened is I think the Porsche guys decided to trim out the downforce for this race. And I think the Ferrari guys decided they were going to try to run it because this is a very, you know,
The curb is so RNG.
twisty, curby, turny track. I don't know if that makes sense. So what normally would happen is the Ferrari guys would just blow by the Porsches on the straightaway. But it looks like the Porsches have so little wing in their car, they're able to keep them at bay today. At least that's what I'm noticing with Schofield and Cosgrove, which might be why Cosgrove had such a hard time getting up the pace early on until the tires heated up.
Yeah, you'd be the one that knows all about that because I just kind of drive the car and hope that
Yeah,
somebody
I'm just
gives
looking at how
somebody
the cars are
hopefully gives me
rotating,
a
and
set.
it's not normal that the Ferrari would be going faster through a corner than a Porsche. It's not normal that a Porsche would be going faster down a straightaway than a Ferrari. So
Yeah, that gap, by the way, for the lead down to about half a second. There you see it. You hear the Jaws music playing in the background. That's not a dirty sport car, though. That's Michael Janney just trying to get around Curtis Critchley. I would expect him to do it here coming up on this straightaway.
Curtis, what a race he's put together too. What a shame. He almost deserves the win, just because of the fact that he's been out ahead of Michael Janney for 18 minutes.
Well, not quite 8.
Honestly, he could get the AM class win here. Good for him if he does it, and a second overall. Be a strong points night for him. He's just got to be careful. I think Michael's being really respectful. He's giving him all the track he needs to try to get him a chance to, to keep his pace up. I think Michael will probably take him on a straightaway if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
I don't think Curtis is gonna hold him up for too long.
no, but the biggest thing for him is he's got 4 seconds back to Brandon Lambert. And here you see Janney to the inside, under braking. Critchley doesn't even squeeze him at all, just lets him go. He knows he's the faster car. But still, 4 seconds for Critchley back to Brandon Lambert. He's well on his way to possibly a class win.
Yeah, I mean, that's not out of the question at this point. I think that's, that might even be the obvious conclusion with how well he's driving here. It's very impressive. Maybe the BMW's found the rhythm here. Maybe he's just put a lot of laps. I wouldn't count Brandon Lambert out. I think he's the type of driver that can reel these 4 seconds back in, but we've seen some consistency issues from Lambert. So if the car can maintain the pace, I think he'll be okay, but we'll see. We lost Seth Rawls. But Brian Sohn is back out on the track. Very, very wounded.
Yeah, Brian Stone, we talked about, though, he never gives up on a race. He always loves to get himself out there, and he ended up with a 4th-place finish. He's
but I didn't see any damage on the car, so I don't know why he quit. I'm not sure why he quit.
Brian, though, does take it back into the pits. Maybe that car is too damaged, which is unfortunate. He ended up, I think, with a 4th-place finish last week after some fantastic, just clean driving from him at Mosport.
Well, if I had to guess, Brian was at least going to go out there and pass Tim Brokaw, which a good move, run 1 lap, get that spot back, and repair the rest of the car up or whatever he's going to do. But
Yeah, that makes
Jack
sense.
Belton's working on Jeffrey Wallace now for P9 and P10, it looks like. Not the run he wanted off the corner, unfortunately. But they're coming up on Steve Lane for 8th as well. They do have a little bit of a pace advantage.
We do have 1 word here from Tim Brokaw after his disconnection or after his wreck and disconnection from the server. That 1 word is poop. So
Sums it up pretty accurately.
Yeah, that's about the right way to put it, I think. Thinking about making a move there was Jack Belton, but he tucks back in line, not able to do it through the chicane. Can he use the slipstream to his advantage here? Have to wait and see. By the way, Critchley is now just over a second behind Michael Janney already. So this is the closest battle on track, as well as this one, actually, between Schofield and Cosgrove.
Yeah, I do think you're going to see Wallace and Belton catch up to Asphalt, Dennis, and Steve Lane by the end of this thing. So I think we're going to see some more battling. And it's going to be in this, sort of the back of the field here, back third of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, Michael Janney's still out in front. And it's been an interesting one for him so far. Started at the back of the pack, worked his way up through the field, and now a 2.5 clear of Curtis Critchley. Brandon Lambert, 6 seconds back. Still about 3 seconds behind Critchley, though. So he's making up a little bit of time here and there, but Critchley's still able to hold on to that second with a solid margin.
Yeah, you got to ask, though. Some of these guys are getting held up by guys that are just clearly a little slower than them because it's a hard track to overtake at. What point do you just pull it down into pit road, do the pit stop a little early, and try to get them on strategy?
You know, to be safe with the pit window here, I would expect you to maybe have to wait another lap or two. But overall, yeah, I mean, you could definitely try to stop early and try to get some clean laps and clean track. The issue would be, though, I mean, yeah, you're going to be stuck behind them in the slower corners, but you won't have that draft stuck behind somebody down the long straightaways here. There's two of them that really you could use every bit of slipstream you could possibly imagine on.
Yeah, I mean, but guys like David Schofield are capable of what they ran in qualifying, mid-19s. Maybe add a half a second, so maybe a high 19. He's running 20.7s behind Cody Crossgrove here. Jack Belton running 20.9s. His best lap in the race is a 20.4. So, I mean, you got to think he could at least run half a second faster in clean air. If you can't get it done sooner or later, then I would say maybe pull it in. But Jack's got the run here. He got a much better exit off the corner than Wallace. Let's see if he can use that slipstream to his advantage. Big, long straight here. He's closing.
He thought
He's going to be alongside of him.
Yeah, he thought about it last time, but tucked back in line instead. He's definitely got the better run this time. He is definitely at his door. And on turning, I think it's going to be his corner to lose. Yep, he's going to be there.
Oh, yeah, Master Chief is clear, clear, clear.
And he sends it up the inside. Fantastic move there by Jack, and he keeps things going. Hammered down, and he's now going to look to try to put some sort of a gap there on Jeffrey Wallace. Up the road is David Schofield. Looks like Steve Lane. Actually, Schofield, something's happened to him. No, he just brings it down pit road. So maybe he's listening to us talk about maybe pit bring it in now. I'd expect the stop to be about 15 seconds.
No, something did happen to him on lap 14 or 15. Got some damage on the right front.
Okay, so there must be...
Oh, he hit the wall coming into pit lane, actually.
Interesting. We'll see if we can't...
Well, he really pancaked that right front. I mean, who knows how much damage that really is, but unfortunate if he loses a lot of time because of that.
Yeah, that's definitely... You're going to take some repairs. That's been in his box for 35 seconds now, so definitely significant damage to that car as we go back live to your leader. Here's another battle out there on track. This one we were just looking at between Belton and Wallace. Yeah, Schofield finally out of his box. So he is going to jump back out on track. 50 seconds the stop.
I got to think there might have been some mandatory repairs. They definitely fixed up that fender a little bit, got it sealed off. That's not what David needed. I mean, yeah, it's a rough track, but there is long straightaways. That's going to hurt your speed. It's maybe not going to kill your race, but you don't want to be spending time in pit lane, especially when you're battling for a top 5. Though after the pit stop, he's down to P10, and Curtis Critchley is just ahead of him, so... Did Curtis lap him? Yes, he did. So David's actually a lap down right now.
Yeah, he's 3 laps ahead, though, of the next car behind. That's Seth Rawls. Rawls is done for the race as well. So he is just going to try to log some laps for Schofield and see when he, if he can't try to get one back when the rest of the field has to pit. But overall... pretty spread out throughout the field right now. This is really the only battle out there on track for the moment. Which I find interesting, Ray. We saw how much we thought that Belton was getting held up by Jeffrey Wallace, but instead, he's just hanging right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Belton's by, but I think that BMW does have a little better straightaway speed. I think that's helping him keep up. I don't think he's losing as much in the corners. That being said, Belton's lap times are down into that range we were expecting them to be down into.
Yeah, so his lap times definitely have improved since getting by. The slipstream is just kind of letting Jeffrey Wallace stay there in the draft. So overall, these guys are doing what they can to just keep themselves clean for the time being. A big cloud passing over the track right now. You see kind of how hazy it's gotten as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the track is actually very warm. I noticed the date that the sim time was set to was May 15th, which is the default iRacing, I think. I don't know how Brandon sets those, but 114 track temp is very warm.
11.
A very warm temperature out there. It's actually gone down a couple of degrees from when we started this race, but
That's that cloud cover you're talking about.
yeah, it was a massive cloud because it took up just about the entire track. I know from talking to iRacing staff that is basically a surface average. There will be different temperatures in different corners like we might see in the real world. But still, over 20 minutes gone in this race. It's Janney, Critchley, Lambert, your top three, and they're pretty well fanned out. This is still the closest battle here on track at the moment. That's about 0.6 of a second between Belton and Wallace. Steve Lane has caught back up to Asphalt Dennis. He's about a second behind him. So we'll switch over to that once they get a little bit closer. But for right now, it's just Jeffrey Wallace hanging on to the back of Jack Belton, trying to stay in the slipstream range.
We have a spin. Curtis Critchley's around.
Oh no, Curtis. You were running so good. We'll take one more look at it, see if we can't catch what happened here. Looks like, yep, just has left side tires just barely over the curb, but a good bit of driving to save that race car. I think now you might have to consider coming in for some tires, depending on how much heat you got into him through there. And yeah, he's going to lose the third spot as well, so he's down to fourth for the moment. He's got Kevin Fanning there back behind him as well. Nope, he stays out. But he's shown pace all race long, so I don't think he's going to have much of an issue getting back up to these guys, especially because there was no contact for him when he made that spin. So still Janney out in front. Critchley right on the back of that 67 of Crosgrove for that final podium spot. And I think that we might see a little bit more timid driving for a little bit here from the 97. Just trying to keep himself in line and making sure he doesn't make any more mistakes like that one. Trying to find a way by. We've seen how difficult it can be to pass here. Just over 25 minutes complete so far. Lambert now in second, 14 seconds behind. Critchley lost a little bit of time there to Crosgrove, but he's still hounding him. He wants that podium. And there you see him sending it up the inside. Fantastic move from Critchley. So he is going to start to pull away just a little bit. Hopefully he can find a way to pull away at least, because Crosgrove right there as well can use that slipstream as much as he can. Does Critchley go defensive, try to hold the inside? No, he goes all the way out to the left or the right side of the track. Crosgrove thought about making the move, but instead he tucks right back in line. And now Critchley sets his sights on a car 5 seconds up the road. That's Brandon Lambert. And Lambert, his fastest lap of the race is a full half second slower than what we've been seeing out of Curtis Critchley. So wait to see what happens here. As Janney well clear out in the lead. So it's a battle for second. Can Critchley catch up? Belton put a little bit more of a gap now on Jeffrey Wallace, about a second between them. Steve Lane still struggling to catch up to Asphalt Dennis there for the 6th position as well. So we'll switch over here to this battle. This is for 6 that we were just talking about. That's Asphalt Dennis in that G Fuel number 8. Followed by Steve Lane, that Split 66. And touchdown Colts. Let's go Colts. Playing on Thursday Night Football right now. Sorry for the... I don't know where Ray went. Where did Ray go? I'm getting lonely. Yeah, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. But yeah, this battle's still heating up. Yeah, even chat saying Ray needs to speak more because he's too quiet. Say something, brother. Michael Janney just running away with it. Still more connection issues, though, for Steve Lane. That's unfortunate. He lost a little bit of time there as well to Asphalt Dennis. He's still at least within a decent striking range as he continues his grind. Up in 7th right now for Steve. This is still the closest battle on track. Critchley cut the gap about 3/10 now. Or he's cut 3/10 into the lead that Lambert has on him for 2nd. Difference is about 4.7 between the two of them right now. So, towards the end of the season, of course, we've seen it the last couple of seasons, smaller fields, and definitely makes for some different races. Last week was interesting, even though it was about the same size. It was a battle of attrition, where we saw guys drop in and hitting the wall left and right, running wide, getting into some spins on their own. Here this week, though, it's just everybody kind of hot lapping at this point. Bunch of cars still out on track. 9 cars on the lead lap. David Schofield 1 lap down. He is already pitted, so he has played his strategy for the night. We'll have to see where he cycles out here at the end of it. So still Janney out in front, and yep, the gap is holding steady now between Critchley and Lambert at about 5 seconds. I think that Critchley might consider making a stop here soon, just to kind of reset himself and get himself all situated, sorted out for the rest of this race. Get some clean track and see where things can go. You typically wouldn't see tires taken here in these cars, so wouldn't expect him to get a fresh set of rubbers, but he will. All these drivers will have to make a pit stop at one point or another.
Apologize, Chad. I had to step away from the microphone for just a minute there.
Oh, just a couple. No big deal.
See, I missed a little bit.
I mean,
Brian Sohn is back out on the track.
yeah, I mean, that's Brian for you. You know, he's going to do everything he can to just continue his race, and he's a what was it? Persevering young lad, I guess would be the way to put it.
Yeah, meanwhile, some Audi that's blue and yellow.
Oh, and here he comes, by the way. Curtis Critchley does come down pit road this time by...
Oh, David Schofield's around.
I picked, definitely called that one. Yeah, David Schofield. He's had some issues. You see him recovering. And there's...
That was a big spin.
And is he crabbing just a little bit? No, the
Yeah,
back...
I think he hit the wall.
Yeah, because he's got some rear wing damage there as well.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he's definitely got some handling issues on that race car. You see the back end sliding
Oh, he
around
did
just a
back
little
into the
bit.
wall very lightly.
Yeah, that back wing is bent, and the back end is wiggling just a little
He
bit.
only hit it at like 5 miles an hour, so it shouldn't be that bent, but that's pretty bent for 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, Wallace, by the way, did come down pit road
Excuse
as
me.
well. So Wallace and he is out in the ninth spot. Critchley with a 22-second stop. He is going to be in and out. So he keeps things going for him. Just kind of taking a little reset button there for him as he continues on with his portion of the driving here. Just past halfway, and he makes his pit stop. Gonna have to see how that plays out for him.
Is there anybody else who's made their pit stop, Chad? Did Jeffrey Wallace come down?
Yes,
Notice
Wallace.
he's,
Yeah, Wallace did pit. Schofield has pit as well, but everybody out in front, first through seventh, have yet to make their stops.
Interesting. Did Dennis pick? Asphalt Dennis?
He has
Yeah,
not.
he looks like he might have. No, he did not. You're right. Okay, so I think David and Jeffrey might have a chance of getting him, but interesting that Jeffrey is so far ahead of David on the same strategy there. You know, shows you how much the spin and the damage cost him.
Absolutely. So there's a look at a Curtis Critchley, and he's trying to just make up some ground here. One guy that we haven't looked at too much yet tonight is Team Matco Tools and Kevin Fanning out there in the 54, so we'll give him some love here on the camera. He's currently up in the 4th position. Just kind of logging some laps on his own. He's got 3 seconds up the road to Crosgrove, and he's got 8 seconds out the back to Steve Lane.
Not a whole lot going on the track right now.
Exactly. This is the time where we have some fun with it, and we can, make random obscure references or tell some jokes. Stuff like that, stuff you typically don't talk about here on a racing broadcast. Something interesting about this track, this back straightaway actually is so long that they used it to land drug smuggling planes back in, I believe, the 70s or 80s.
They really?
They did.
Interesting. We could talk about next season, Chad. What tracks would you want to see?
I want to see the Indianapolis Oval. I want to see the Daytona Oval. I want to see
Chad
some.
wants to drive some NASCAR.
I want to see some Bristol. No, I want GTs. I want sports cars. Definitely want to see
Dirt?
Bristol. Maybe not dirt. I don't know about dirt yet. But what about the figure? What about Irwindale figure 8? We'll go with some figure 8s.
Oh yeah, that's right up our alley. With the jumps.
Well, we'll do it a double header. We'll make one with and one without the jumps.
I mean, without the jumps, somebody will get T-boned by a shark tooth.
That would happen anyway.
Probably true. I really want to see Motegi. I really enjoyed driving that when we drove MTech there. Kind of sold me on the track. I think we should run it here. Probably good racing too.
I don't know. I was on the call for that one, so I definitely know what it's like to watch a race there. And it had its moments, but at the same time, I think the field kind of spread itself out. That might have played some nature with the multi-class of it all, but.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also with a race like that, I mean, that was an endurance race. That wasn't a sprint race. So you're not going to get door-to-door battling. People are going to give up the spot more easily.
For sure.
I know I didn't really fight people. I just kind of let them go. It wasn't worth getting your door smashed in.
And then you get your door smashed in.
Yeah, about that. I wasn't driving the car when it happened.
Yeah, Ray never makes mistakes.
Our penalty did get overturned. Our end-of-line penalty for apparently passing into yellow.
I didn't realize you got a yellow or a penalty for passing under yellow.
Yeah, there was a stack up in the middle of the field, and people crashed in front of us and behind us. And a GT3 car that was in our field passed us while we were slowing down for the wreck. I guess that means we were part of the wreck. So we just kind of rejoined, and it looked like he was kind of like staying the course to the left a little, and I don't know, Blake went past him, and we got an EOL for it. We appealed it. Really, we thought it was kind of obscure,
Well,
and it looked like they kind of let us go.
Well-
And we got an EOL the next lap anyway, so because we had to serve an EOL for pitting for emergency fuel stop. So it really didn't matter.
but speaking of penalties, or
Crosgrove is in the pits.
yes, he is, and he's back out underway. 15.7 on the stop for him, and he's going to rejoin 4 seconds in front of Curtis Critchley. So
He has damage on the front of that car. When did he pick that up? Lap 7, it looks like.
But
When
speaking
he
of
go by.
speaking of you guys in the MTech series, go to Circuit of the Americas this month. Any thoughts going into that one?
Blake likes the track. I like the track. I just haven't driven it in GT3. We'll see how it is. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting track. I can't say it's anywhere near my favorite, but
Gonna be a lot of caution flags they have.
yeah, the way that the cautions work in that series is definitely interesting. But I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it, but
As a driver, I actually kind of liked it because an incident is subjective. This really made it down to a random number of incidents and then a threshold above that.
I don't mind that as much as the Ray's dying. I don't mind that so much as the way that they handle it without having a safety car. Just kind of a lot of drivers didn't realize what they were supposed to do, and there were a couple of confusing moments under that caution.
I agree with you. My lung's back in my body now, so I can talk. Yeah, we got caught out by that, and also the fact that it took 4 laps or so to open the pits or something, when really we went by once, and then twice, and then a third time, and it still wasn't open. We had to pit that third time by, and we're like, why is it not open? We ran basically 2 full laps under caution and had it open. So we then went and ran 2 in another one. So that was confusing, but like that's partially because maybe they weren't using the iRacing caution system, which I don't mind too much. I just wish the pace car or the pit entry would have opened up, because getting an EOL and starting behind GT4 cars was not fun.
Yeah, I think that not getting the classes sorted as well kind of made things hectic.
Well, they don't do that in real life either, but I feel like it kind of works itself out usually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was overall very enjoyable. I liked the random cautions, but yeah, that was an interesting thing. Really don't want to talk bad about it because it's a unique idea and it was fun.
Yeah, definitely having cautions makes things a little more interesting for the guys. Looks like get another taker down pit road. That's Kevin Fanning. And
Speaking of cautions, I
Fanning,
was thinking if we did cautions during these hour races, it would actually really add some interesting strategy in with the pit stops.
yeah, for sure. Fanning, by the way, did come down pit road. You saw him there in the flash by in the background. He currently sits in the 7th spot, so one more position back to Critchley, and Critchley has made up some time. He's now under 2 seconds behind Crossgrove. He might have gotten a slowdown there. We'll have to see. No, he didn't. He ran wide, but I guess he was close enough that he didn't get the penalty.
Ooh, battle between Janney and Fanning. No, they're not really much of a battle, is it, though?
No, but that is your leader. And that's right behind these guys. I don't even have to switch. There you see it. That's that pit car is Curtis Critchley. He's already made his pit stop, but your leader back behind him has not yet. And we've seen it from Janney every race this season. He just basically runs it out of fuel. And that's a huge wreck there for David Schofield. He bends it under the bridge.
Oh, no, David.
And that could have been dangerous. That was right in front of your leaders. There you see, got his left sides onto the over the rumble strips, and he just sends it straight into that bridge. The worst possible place to lose it, because there was definitely nowhere for that car to go.
He's done that twice tonight, that exact same thing.
Asphalt Dennis now works his way down the pit lane. He is into his box for what should be a shorter stop than most. And actually, that's the 113 of Janney in as well.
It is Janny down the pit lane. We do have a couple battles starting to brew. Curtis Critchley, Cody Crosgrove. That one's brewing. Jack Belton's not really anywhere near Brandon Lambert, but Lambert's coming down the pit road here to make his pit stop, and Janny's leaving his box. He's Asphalt Dennis coming out right in front of Jeffrey Wallace here. I do believe that is for position. It is. That's a close battle. And Chad, I must go attend to my my lung here for a minute, so I'll be back once I get a drink of water.
Sounds good. Yeah, right now that's a look at the battle for the 8th position. I'll keep an eye on the interval there for 5th as well. Critchley about a second still behind Crosgrove, but slowly but surely making up time there. Looks like Janny and Lambert both in and out of their respective pit boxes. They're off of pit road. Now Jack Belton on working down pit road. He is into his box right now, so he's going to lose a couple of spots. Where does he cycle out? He's currently dropping down to 5th, down to 6th. Where is Steve Lane? He's going to lose the 7th spot to Steve Lane as well. Excuse me. Now I'm turning into Ray. He gave me his cough, his smoker's lung. But no, so that's going to be Steve Lane there cycling up into 6th. Jack Belton out in the 7th spot. Janny still holds the lead, and Critchley down under 3/4 of a second now behind Cody Crosgrove. Teal72 says Ray Kingsbury for the win. He did not really even start the race. He just kind of jumped in the booth for no apparent reason. So, I think I just lost all iRacing audio. Try to figure that one out. I can't hear cars. We got that figured out. There we go. Thanks, Obama. So back underway. Hey, Trevor Teal, how you doing, buddy? I miss you. Oh, Grandpa, don't get me started on Grandpa Joe. Oh, we hate Grandpa Joe. This is an anti-Grandpa Joe server. Yeah, I miss you too, brother. Under 15 minutes now. 3/4 of the distance completed. Everybody has made their pit stop. And, yeah, Janny's run away with it. Critchley, though, this is that battle for the final podium spot. And Critchley has had the pace over the last couple laps. Tucking in line, they're using all the strips they possibly can. Thinking about making a move to the outside. Does not do it. Sits back in line once again. Under braking here. He's just going to tuck back in line. Actually, here's Jeffrey Wallace and Asphalt Dennis. Wallace wants to get by. So that's Dennis there, the G Fuel number 8. Team Watson Racing. There was Jeffrey Wallace in the 99 as well. But this is the other Team Watson Racing car, and he's in a battle for position. He runs it wide, though. He's going to go off track. Does he avoid contact? He does. Can he keep the car to control? Fantastic save. No. Oh! What was a fantastic drive for Curtis Critchley. And, oh, that's a rage quit as well. Oh, man. You have to feel for him. That is no good. You have to feel for Curtis. Oh, that hurts to watch. No, I'm not even going to look at the replay. Oh, man, Curtis, I feel for you, brother. Looks like he's going to have what I believe the 9th position locked up there for Curtis Critchley. So, yeah, I agree. Serious, utter pain, real big sad. Lay sad. That's French, yeah. We'll go with French. So what was a fantastic battle for the podium has now fizzled into hot laps for the front three, and just about everybody actually throughout most of the field. This is the only battle on track, and it looks like now that he's gotten by, that's going to go with the 7th position to Asphalt Dennis. As now letting your leader by, that is your leader Michael Janney flashing by. It's a lap, Jeffrey Wallace. So that now makes 5 drivers that will not finish today's event. But 4 that will not finish. Brian Son, his car is wounded. It's scraped up. It's missing a lot of paint. But Brian Son's still out there in the 03 Penguin RC machine. And have to thank him for his sponsorship of this series. Go check them out. They make some amazing products and do some fantastic work both in and out of the sim. So shout out to Brian, Penguin RC Simulations, and they definitely have some interesting stuff. They give some prizes out to drivers as well, and sounds like I've got Ray back in the booth.
Yeah, Chad, they do have some interesting stuff, and I am back. I myself am looking forward to getting a wheel eventually.
You definitely missed out, by the way. Big moment for Curtis Critchley. Unfortunately, it looks like his night is done. Hard contact after he was catching Crosgrove. He was right there, and a hard contact, unfortunately, sent him spinning into the wall. He almost saved it, but unfortunately did not, and that ended his night.
It was pretty hard contact looking at that. Actually, I'm a little shocked he wasn't able to keep the car going, but... yeah, wow. Didn't look like it was that bad of damage, but I guess these could be a little deceiving.
It was mostly a rage quit. He didn't even try to drive the car after the contact. So you do get a shout out from Trevor Teal in the chat. Just says Ray.
Trevor.
Appreciate that, dude. Trevor, actually, you know what? Now that you're back, Ray, I gotta ask you. You've seen Charlie in a Chocolate Factory, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What's your thoughts on Grandpa Joe?
I'm confused where this is going.
It's a simple question. Do you like Grandpa Joe as a character?
Man, I don't have Charlie in the Chocolate Factory memorized, but I believe he was the old dude, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really
he's
have a problem with him.
He's a piece of doo-doo. He lays
a weird guy that skipped around.
He's Charlie's grandpa that, Charlie, he lays his bed for like 20 years living off of his daughter, just, trying to, mooch off her forever. All of a sudden, Charlie finds his golden ticket, and he's like, oh, I can jump and dance around. I have no problem going to a chocolate factory.
Oh.
Come on.
I mean, I was young when I watched Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
You have...
Check that out.
Come on, man.
You sure he didn't just eat the chocolate and, magically have all that energy?
Bro, it was well before he ate the chocolate.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Chocolate heals people. Just the thought of chocolate.
Thanks, Obama. Oh. Man.
We're going with that one.
This is the only really close battle on track. Both of these guys are 1 lap down overall. They're a second apart on track, and slowly but surely Dennis has been pulling away from Mr. Wallace. All right,
Lambert is putting in the work for an AM class win here.
Yeah, he is. Ray, 7.5 minutes left. Who's your pick?
Unless somebody strikes a telephone pole somewhere's in Maryland to take Michael Janney out of this race. Michael Janney?
Oh, I was going to pick Michael Janney. All right, I guess we both picked Janney to win this one. Check.
Yeah, he's really giving that car a beating, by the way. His front splitter is, destroyed from how hard he's been hitting the curbs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got a bunch of damage, but You know what? He's still flying out there. Oh, Trevor still picks you to win, so got some work to do, buddy.
Dang, Trevor, I might need to invent time travel, my boy.
Just hit 88 miles an hour. You'll be fine.
And then I'll jump to a different time zone.
There you go. Here's a look once again at Jack Belton. He's only 3 seconds behind Steve Lane out there on track, so another close battle there on the lead lap. Tail end of the lead lap, but it's still on the lead lap. These guys are about 13 seconds ahead of your leader. So they're going to try everything they can to avoid getting lapped, and with the lap times they're putting in, it's going to be close. Last time by, it was almost 2 full seconds, the difference between Janney and Belton. Trevor, what were you streaming yesterday on the Nitro channel?
Oh, Jeffrey Wallace had a little bit of a spin there.
Yeah, he already lost some ground to Asphalt Dennis before that, but yeah, still that basically solidifies the 7th spot for Dennis Wallace out there, logging laps in the 8th position. And so he is going to finish this one. Looks like there, barring any incidents for drivers in front of him. Steve Lane's been hot lapping for a hot minute, and he's just gonna wind up, looks like, in the 5th position, unless Jack Belton can do anything about it. He took 2/10 out of that gap last time by.
Yeah, it might be a little too late for Jack Belton. I'd be surprised if he can get up there and get Steve Lane. They're not too far off on lap times, but not a lot of time left to get him.
Yeah, I mean, all it would take is one mistake, and it's easy to do here.
There's one.
And Belton runs wide there, but able to keep things pointed the correct direction.
I love that Brian Stone's out there trying to get a spot back. I don't think he's got enough laps to do it, but...
No, I'm estimating about 5 laps remaining for these guys out there. Working lap 42 out of an estimated 46. So I don't think he is going to get another lap or get enough laps in. But Brian, just about every race, does that. He gets back out there on track and really does everything he can to finish it. His mechanics must be pretty pissed at him. Every single race, he gives him a ton of work to do.
Well, yeah, it hasn't quite clicked for Brian yet this season. He did better last season with, I believe he was in the Ferrari. Maybe a little bit more comfortable in that. But he said he's been working hard on this Audi. He feels like it's got the pace. He's just not quite got the edge out of it yet. So I'm sure he'll get there eventually.
Yeah, he said he figured a little bit of something out last week there at Mosport. And this week, unfortunately, not exactly the same. He was involved in an early wreck. And that early wreck was not...
wasn't really his fault.
No, that was not his fault. It was Tim Brokaw that spun out in front of about half the field. And unfortunately ended multiple drivers' chances at a solid finish there. But Janney from last is going to go up to first, and Lambert, I think he started second, looks to finish second. Yeah, so Crosgrove, he won last week, got his first win overall in the series, and I believe this also is going to seal the championship for Michael Janney.
I mean, I wouldn't say seal, but it's looking pretty decent.
Well,
right?
he's what, 20 points ahead, right, coming into the event. He's going to get top points while Challoner doesn't get any, so he's going to be over a full win ahead with 1 race remaining.
Yeah, I mean, unless he doesn't show up for a race.
Well, there's only
Wait,
one.
there's only one round remaining. Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it seals it tonight then.
That's what I'm saying. You don't listen to me.
I thought we had one more. Calm down. Is the last round double points or anything crazy?
Quadruple points.
Oh, okay, then we got a shot. Got it, boys.
Last race is under the lights at Daytona. It's going to be myself and Mike Barry here in the booth in 2 weeks for that one.
I'm taking the week off. It's my birthday.
Slacker. You say it's your birthday. You told me that it was for parent-teacher conferences.
It's parent-teacher conferences and then my birthday.
Okay. Slacker. It's also your brother's birthday. So how does that work?
Yeah.
Does he celebrate his birthday first, or?
What?
Well, he came out first, right?
And I guess.
Oh wow, what a move there. Is that? What the heck just
Belton
happened?
got by Lane.
Well, something happened to Steve Lane. Did he
I feel
underfuel
like
the
just
car?
let him go.
By the way, that's a nice looking Cubecast logo on the
He
car
must
there.
have. He's going like 20 miles an hour off pace.
And then he,
Oh, he slowed down in the middle of this. That was weird.
yeah, I'm not sure. Something must be up with Steve Lane's car or his rig or something at the moment, because he just lost a ton of pace. He is about, say, 60 miles an hour slower down the straightaway than everybody else around him.
Yeah, that's bizarre because a couple of these guys are going to pass him.
Hey, just look right behind him. Here comes Asphalt
He's out of
Dennis.
fuel.
If he's out of fuel, why didn't he just come in last time? Take the splash. He's
I
gonna.
don't think he realized he was out of fuel.
Well, I think he had to have, because he slowed down before they even got to the chicane.
Oh no, Steve.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So he's gonna have to take the tow back to pit lane. That's gonna end his night
that's the
in
end
the
of his
sixth.
night,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the end of his night in the 6th position. So unfortunate there for Steve.
Lambert just had an off. Something.
Yeah, there you see him letting Brian Song go by. That's not
Well, he
for
slowed his
position.
pace down for a few laps. I wonder if he's saving fuel too.
Yeah, here comes Michael Janney on the last lap. And through the final couple of corners, for the final time, Michael Janney wins at Road
Oh,
Atlanta, and he takes the championship to boot.
Lambert saving fuel.
Yeah, and he's going to have Cody Crossgrove coming up right behind him. I think he's got enough. He should have enough to get there,
He may
right?
get to the end of the race, I think. I don't know if he'll keep Cody Crossgrove behind him. Unless he did enough saving by losing 6 seconds there.
Yeah, and Crossgrove.
Well, I don't see him saving now, so he must be good.
Yeah, Crossgrove, I think, pit around the same time that Lane did, so gonna have to check.
Yeah, Lambert's coasting into the last corner here. Got it completely shut off, it sounds like.
Yeah, Lane had a 7-second longer stop than Crossgrove as well. So Crossgrove, does he have enough? Yeah, he has to. He's pushing hard.
Lambert can roll it across the line from here. He's out, I think. He's out.
And here they come through the final corner. Who's going to get it at the line? The second spot goes to
Cody
Lambert. Crossgrove. Wow.
Crossgrove, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That was a close finish there by less than or just over 1/10 of a second. Wow.
Photo finish for the AM class win.
Yeah, .11 there at the line. Multiple drivers. We talked about it pre-race running out of fuel. That's Kevin Fanning there. He's finished. Jack Belton's finished. Looks like just about everybody that was out
It's not
on
going to be
track
a
has
happy
finished.
Brandon Lambert giving away the AM class win. 2nd place overall. That would have been some huge points for Lambert there. Yeah. He's not going to be reacting well to that, I can tell you that much.
No, absolutely not. And it's been a fantastic race. Chat, what are your thoughts there? Ray had a good comeback. Yeah, good job, Ray. First race in a while here in the series, and you took 14th.
Oh, I'll tell you, Chad. Really proud of my guys.
And Michael Janney absolutely running away with it. Before we let's pop in to get these guys in some meters, let's take a look at our results. And there you see it. Michael Janney takes the win at Hotlanta by over a minute over Cody Crossgrove. Crossgrove, though, less than, or just over 1/10 of a second between himself and Lambert. Lambert out of fuel across the line. And then it was Fanning and Belton, the only other 2 cars on the lead lap. Then Asphalt Dennis and Jeffrey Wallace both finished 1 lap down. Steve Lane unfortunately lost multiple positions over the last couple laps as he ran out of fuel and had to try to go around for one last time, but he had to take a tow, so he finishes 2 laps down. Then it's Critchley, Schofield, Son, Seth Rawls. Tim Brokaw, unfortunately, going to finish 13th. And that's going to be end of that those results. But these guys put on a fantastic show once again here from Road Atlanta. Just waiting to see who we get in the booth first for some post-race interviews.
Well, I enjoyed the racing. It was good. A little spread out of the middle, but we finished it with a photo finish. What can I say? We're headed into Daytona with some, well, hard racing to beat, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a race these guys are going to have to try to live up to. We've seen some fantastic races there before here in the series, and it's going to be the first race under the lights here as well.
Cody Crosgrove's got a chance to jump up over the top of Christian Challoner for points if Challoner doesn't show up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see how that played out the last couple of races for Chandler, but it's part of the whole thing. This is only a game, and unfortunately, sometimes the real world gets in the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Lambert's up to P7 in the points, so a gain there. David Schofield still top 5, just behind Kevin Fanning. Steve Lane edging closer to David Schofield, a chance to possibly move into the top 5 in points if he has a good week next week. And obviously Michael Janney down in front.
So it looks like we're going to start here with our race winner, Michael Janney. Michael, congratulations on the win, but also just based on my math, congratulations on the championship.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man.
Yeah, I thought about that coming into this race. Sitting out last week because Christian wasn't here, I was trying to keep the championship as close as possible. But yeah, I mean, I didn't want to skip 2 weeks, so here we are. It's in some ways, again, like I can't stress, like I'm really happy that I was able to kind of run out this season, especially coming back on Christian from last season when he beat me. Um, but at the same time, like it just kind of sucks. It wasn't like down to the wire. Like I really wanted to go down to Daytona, have the little tiny points gap, and have some upset, create some crazy situations. But yeah, I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, it was you and him winning every race so far this season up until last week. We've seen some fantastic racing, whether it was at Barcelona and the Red Bull Ring to start off, or even Mossport maybe was a fantastic race. Unfortunately, you sat that one out, but it was a great race there. Bathurst as well. I mean, you and Chandler were battling most of the way there. So, what's it like just being in such a competitive field where just about anybody can fight for any position all throughout the field, and that you can't just take a position for granted?
Well, it's always fun, and I think the group of guys that show up here each week, it's always a blast. It's really cool too to get to know them over the years. Even the new faces, I still feel like, even from like last season, who have returned, it's really cool to race against them. And I mean, there's a ton of respect shown on the racetrack. Like if you go for a move, all the space is shown. Um, I had a blast working through the field today. That was really fun. Road Atlanta is one of those tracks where just experiencing the traffic and going through it is just so much fun. Um, so props to all those guys for that. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but I think that overall that was a pretty good race.
Yeah, it was a fantastic season for you, and we got one more race to go from Daytona. What are your thoughts on that track?
I've done a lot of racing there in this car. I really like it. I
Uh,
think
Just so
draft.
just so you know, we're at the Oval, by the way.
Oh, all right. Well, here's the deal then. I've raced like half the track in this car before. I don't know how the other quarter behaves, but well, I guess mathematically that would be the other half, not the other quarter. But I mean, we in America decide that Daytona has four corners, which I don't really know how that makes a lot of sense. But that's a different topic for a different
No,
day.
no, we're on the road course. It'll be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, but to answer your question, draft is a huge factor there. And I remember having a great battle there with Savian back in season one, I think,
Yep, it was
of
season one.
the final run. So hopefully I can have something like that. I would love it if Kristen could pop back in. I know he probably is going to look at it from an analytical perspective, but either way, I just hope to have some good racing.
Yeah, it's been fantastic watching you guys battle all season long. But for the penultimate time, anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, so Livewire SimSport and Drive Dead Racing for our team this season. And then Sim Experience for the sponsorship. Everyone who watches and supports me. And of course, last but not least, Chad and Ray, thank you for the broadcast.
Well, hey, thank you for the fantastic race, and best of luck next week.
Thanks, guys. See you.
That's Michael Janet, your race winner here once again from Road Atlanta. Up next, your second place finisher, actually second place finisher, yeah, second place finisher, Cody Crosgrove. Cody, what a race!
Thanks, guys. Um, yeah, like I had a pretty good, solid race. I had a couple brown moments in turn one, but other than that, I honestly I didn't think I was gonna get second, but I saw Brandon slowly. Wow, I started slowly getting up to him all of a sudden because he had like a 15-second lead on me, and then it was like 2 seconds. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try for it.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on this track? It looked like everybody was giving it everything they've got out there.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but like I struggle a lot in turn one and that uphill turn, and yeah, I just struggled all race, but I managed to bring it home in second.
I mean, it's got to feel pretty good thinking, oh, I struggled, but still somehow finished second.
Yeah, it feels pretty good that I could at least keep it on the track and finish. And
Yeah, I mean, we got one more race left in the season. It's at Daytona. What are your thoughts there, especially with it being a night race?
I'm not that great in the night. I've done a couple of endurance races in the past, and I'm horrible at night, so I need to practice on that. But other than the track, I like the track. I'm not very good at it, so I need to practice on that one quite a bit.
Well, hey, it's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. Do you have anybody you want to shout out here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sim Experience, Livewire Sim Sports, Drive Dead Racing, you guys for putting on a good show, and the wife and kid.
Hey, congratulations on the second place finish, and get some practice here. You got an extra week to do it.
Thanks, guys.
That's Cody Crosgrove, your second place finisher here tonight, and one more interview to come, and that's going to be Brandon Lambert. And Brandon, we'll start out with the elephant in the room here. Who does their field calculations? Brandon, you got a copy?
I got you.
Hey, we'll start out with the obvious question here. Who does your field calculations?
Myself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You punching yourself after that one?
Yeah, I miscalculated by almost 2 gallons.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
You're definitely saving there at the end. Unfortunately, you lost it by just a tenth, but you still finished on the podium. It was an interesting race for sure.
Yeah, this track I was not a fan of. I was struggling in practice to find speed with the Porsches. Um, I was literally 5 tenths slower than the Porsches, and I thought tonight was just going to be absolutely crap. But somehow, race pace, I was able to go faster than the Porsches, which I was very like surprised by. And of course, not Janie because he's just God anyway. But no, I was happy with the pace in the race. I found pace
just consistent pace. It wasn't fast. It was 120s, but it was enough to get me a podium. And holy crap, it was my first podium ever in the series. So I hate that I lost it. I hate that I lost my chance at my first AM win. But I don't know. It's a what do you call it? I don't know.
Decent
So-
problem to have.
Yeah, a decent problem to have. Finish on the podium, running out of fuel.
Well, hey, you do at least make up some ground on Steve Lane. Steve finished in 8th tonight. You took home the 3rd place points. Definitely cut into the gap that you had with him. You were 23 points behind him coming in, and now you're gonna be 3 points behind him for that last 3rd step of the podium in the championship for the last race. Any expectations there?
23 points behind him.
No, the only expectation I have is to go to Daytona
Oh.
and win it. But
Man,
no,
Ray gets his
I-
points updated so quick. What the hell? Anyway,
no, I was planning on going to Daytona and getting my first AM win. The Ferrari is a great car at Daytona. Should be extremely stable, but also extremely fast. We should be the cars to beat. So that's all I'm looking forward to. If I can finish off the season with an AM win, and maybe a podium spot in the championship, that'd be great after missing the first race of the season.
yeah, that's something as well. As you were a race shorter than everybody, but you're right up there with some of the guys that are consistent. They're in the top 5 overall, week in and week out. What were your thoughts tonight? I mean, you had some interesting battles all throughout. You know, you lost the gap back to Critchley early on, but he had some really strong pace. But you held on to second for a while there.
Yeah, I was actually surprised where his speed came from because in practice he was nowhere to be seen. But getting the race, and here he comes, and he kind of took off from me after I gave him that little bump draft down the backstretch there. But I did that so I could maybe also try to pass Cosgrove myself, but because any points over Cosgrove is cutting into that lead. But no, it was just he was gone. He was way out there and ahead of me, but looks like he spun at the hairpin, and I was able to take it away from him. And I kind of drove away from the field after that, and I was really surprised about how much pace I had the rest of the race.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race for you, and you got your sponsors some good time on screen. So, who do you want to thank tonight?
I just want to thank Mr. Ray Kingsbury for putting me in this car, Spark Road Racing, and 90-something Studios. Glad to have them on board, and they're, of course, signed on board for next year. So hope to have another beautiful paint scheme next season, and hopefully I don't know what car we're sticking with.
Well, hey, congratulations on your 3rd place finish, and hopefully next week you get the fuel right. You're able to get that AM win because you've been looking for it for quite some time.
That I have. I appreciate it.
All right, well, best of luck, and we will see you next week at Daytona. But that about wraps things up here from Road Atlanta. For everybody here at North American Simulated Auto Racing, as well as Nitro, Circus helped put these things on. Josh Mertz, Ray Kingsbury, Petey Vagos, who else I got to thank? Kieran Forrest, Brandon Lambert, just about everybody here helped put these things on. Of course, can't forget our sponsors, Penguin RC Simulations, Majors Garage, Sim Racer Coin. These guys all racing to win the Racer's Coin at the end of the season. There, just about everybody that helps put these shows on. It's been so much fun week in and week out. But next show that we've got is, I think we're off. No, we are at Richmond next week in the championship series. Those are the open wheelers at the Richmond Oval. That's going to be Wednesday night, and it's going to be a fun one there. I'll be on the call for that. But until then, make sure you stick around, have some fun, and catch all the streams right here on the Nitro Circus Twitch channel. But race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.